So, hello everyone, and welcome to yet another video. So, I hope you guys got a chance to watch our video that we made on and where we analyzed India's bowling performance, the weaknesses, and while there was a stark difference in the Indian bowling lineup between Jasprit Bumrah and the other bowlers, on the other hand, their counterpart, the hosts, the Australian bowling lineup that looked pretty much balanced, with almost each and every bowler contributing and picking up wickets from time to time. And if I put it that way, that once Josh Hazelwood he got dropped, I think Australia found a like-to-like replacement. In fact, a better replacement, if I use that term, in the form of Scott Boland. And on that note, I would like to go to Saptarshi for my first question regarding Scott Boland. I mean, what is the impact? I mean, he looked brilliant to be honest, and he just made the Indian batters dance in the crease. So yes, Saptarshi, your thoughts on Boland's impact in this series?
Yeah, so I remember that line again. Scott Boland built that man a goddamn statue at the G. Yeah, so I think that was when he made his debut in the Ashes and picked up that massive 6 for 7 against England. I mean, he's been always that kind of a guy. Whenever he's been picked up by Australia, he's put in the performances, whether it was in the Ashes 2021 or in the WTC final of 2023 against India. But I mean, maybe he's been unlucky that at 35 years of age, he's not even played 20 plus tests yet. And because Australia has such a strong bowling lineup, Cummins, Starc, Hazelwood, those that trio has achieved so much throughout their career, so he hasn't got enough chances. But whenever he gets chances, he just slots in so nicely. And I mean, this series he was so good. He picked up 21 wickets and he averaged 13.19, which was massive. And the way he bowled in that last match at SCG on a spicy deck where the ball was doing so much, even the old ball was doing so much. Particularly the way he bowled in the second innings, the ball with which he got Yashasvi Jaiswal. I remember that ball just sort of spun in like an off spinner, and he was so much accurate, bowled on a handkerchief length, and every ball landed right on that spot and did so much. The batters were absolutely clueless. Even in that ping ball match he played, he was so good. And then he bowled well at the MCG, and then at SCG, he was just relentless and he picked up one batter after another. Kohli just had no answer throughout the series. He just looked like an amateur in front of Scott Boland, having no answer to the outside of balls, and he kept on nicking match after match after match after match. And at this point of time, Kohli averages around 7 against Boland, which is pretty shocking the way he has dominated him. He got his wicket even in the WTC final in the second innings, where again Kohli tried to drive him and got caught in the slips. So he's done tremendously well. He even picked up, I mean, that was his first ever 10 wicket haul in Test cricket. In that SCG match, he got a man of the match also, getting 6 run in that second innings. So Scott Boland was truly relentless. And if I just put away his bowling heroics, you just can't forget the batting partnership he put up with Nathan Lyon in MCG for that
Yeah.
10th wicket. The partnership that just frustrated India, and maybe from a stage where India could have forced a result, forced them to go for the draw.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Saptarshi, for that. And while Scott Boland was busy doing his heroics here and there was yet another guy, the skipper, Pat Cummins, who was just, I mean, he was another guy who looked tremendous in this series. I mean, apart from his captaincy duties, he just made the Indian batters have a tough time out there. So, Ashish, your thoughts on Pat Cummins in this series?
Yeah, so Pat Cummins, one of my favorites from New South Wales, and he's also the skipper of the winning side. And let's not forget his contributions with the bat as well. The highest wicket taker for Australia in this series, and the second highest after Bumrah. Not only that, he has bowled the highest number of overs in this series
Yeah,
and picked up 25 wickets at an average of 21. And let's not forget the way he has troubled both Rohit Sharma and Rishabh Pant, getting them out 4 times in this series. He has been really well when it has come to the supporting roles for Starc and Boland. And in the game where Hazelwood got injured, him and Stark had to bowl those extra overs, and he put that as well. So so overall, he has been really amazing for Australia, being a
Yeah,
captain, bowler, as well as contributing with the bat.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the way he just figured out Rishabh Pant throughout the series. I mean, he was the one who created the difference last time India toured Australia, and this time, from the first match, he just figured out how to get Rishabh Pant. And even on that day when Rishabh Pant went berserk at the SCG, he again came and bowled that same line outside of bowling across Rishabh Pant, and he tried to cut it without any fit movement and just got caught because of the bounce.
Yeah, and not only that, something in me says that he might be adding the IPL trophy as well to his captainship winning trophies list this year. Might be high chances.
Yeah, this man
Yeah,
is just unstoppable at this point of time.
absolutely, absolutely. And I hope your prediction comes true, Ashish. Me being a great fan of Pat Cummins. Anyway, I think we can discuss that later. Yeah. So coming to the last topic of our discussion today. So now that we have discussed in depth about Scott Boland and the performance of Pat Cummins, I would like to go to Saptarshi for his analysis on Mitchell Starc. I mean, Mitchell Starc, he also looked brilliant from time to time, and he chipped in with some good bowling performances, especially the 6 wickets that he took in that pink ball test match. And also, there were contributions from some other bowlers as well, like Mitchell Marsh and all. So, Saptarshi, what was the role of the other bowlers in this series from the Australian side? Yeah.
Yeah, so coming to Stark, usually he doesn't have that very good performances against India. Last time, also India took him on. The likes of Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant, Pujara just had some good times against him. And this time in Perth, he started well in the first innings, but second innings, I think at one point he was not bowling well, and then came that statement from Yashasvi Jaiswal where he said that it's coming too slow, and maybe that was the point which triggered a champion like Stark. And I mean, no disrespect to Jaiswal, but he took it too personally. And just a week later, he came back and swung that first ball, the pink cherry in hand, and got Yashasvi Jaiswal out in the first ball. And he went on to pick 6 wickets in that innings. And I mean, that just shows you don't sledge Stark that much. And I mean, the way he got Yashasvi Jaiswal reminded me of his ball against Rory Burns in the Ashes opener in 2021,
Yeah.
just swinging from leg stump and catching him on the back foot. So I mean, he bowled excellently with the pink ball as Stark usually does. He's pretty good with the pink ball with the extra movement he gets off the surface and due to the lacquer. And then in MCG also, sorry, in GABA also, he had to shoulder a lot of responsibility along with Cummins, as Ashish said, because Hazelwood was down. Marsh also was nursing some sort of a strain and didn't bowl enough. Lyon wasn't getting enough of the surface, so he and Cummins had to shoulder a lot of responsibility. In fact, Stark also ended up bowling 150 plus overs, some 153 odd overs. And I mean, at this stage of his career, I think maybe this was his last home series against India, and he had to bowl a lot. And he wasn't even fully fit in Sydney. Still, he bowled his heart out and got a couple of wickets in the first innings. Though he wasn't that much effective in the second innings, he was bowling with some sort of a rib strain and still bowled so well. Even he got Kohli out throughout the series for a couple of times as Kohli went chasing for that wide delivery. Apart from
Yeah.
Stark, if I see there weren't too many
And
contributions, or maybe, yeah, Ashish.
and before you
Yes,
move to
Ashish.
other bowlers, just one more contribution by Stark and Cummins. They cumulatively scored more runs than Kohli
Yeah,
and Rohit. So
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
so they excelled in their secondary job as well.
absolutely.
and and I mean, yeah, and apart from Stark, Australia maybe didn't need a lot of contributions. The pitches weren't that much conducive to spin bowling, with Nathan Lyon ending up bowling a lot less than what he would have expected. But I think he bowled well in that MCG second innings where he got Nitish Reddy early, and also at times when they needed to raise the fast bowlers, he bowled tightly. Bob Webster bowled decently on his debut in Sydney, got that wicket of Shubman Gill in the second innings. Mitchell Marsh maybe didn't bowl enough, and he had a pretty miserable series. So that was it. Labuschagne had his fun. Meanwhile, bowling a couple of pace-on deliveries and all. But mostly, if you look at this Australian bowling attack, the thing that troubled India was Stark, Cummins, and Boland. Hazelwood didn't bowl a lot, bowled some overs in Perth, and then ended up injuring himself in Gabba. So mostly it was this trio that wreaked havoc and helped Australia regain the Border Gavaskar Trophy after 10 long years.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you guys rightly mentioned, that the bowlers not only bowled well, but they also, I mean, were more than handy with the bat, and that
Yeah,
created that extra amount of difference, which eventually led to India losing. So yeah, I would like to thank. Yes, Ashish. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah, yeah. And just one more thing, like when we are comparing the Indian bowlers to the Australian bowlers, we should not forget the fact that uh, that the Indian bowlers had to bowl to more resilient batters compared to Australia. Like a few of our batters just didn't show up to their wickets very cheaply. So so that is also to be considered. Just stating that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, then I think with that we come to the end of our discussion today. I would like to thank both of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and also to our audience who have been supporting us brilliantly through thick and thin. And so now that this video is done, we have completed the bowling analysis of both the teams, India and Australia, and there's still a lot more to be coming in the next few days, and there's a lot in the pipeline. So stay tuned, guys, and as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.